How?
Almost everybody that meets you wants to kill you.
Great.
Gee, thanks.
See, this is why you need to learn emotional support, so you can say the right
Maybe
things.
Fiona would have been better off if I were some sort of Prince Charming.
No. Shrek is continuing his negative self-evaluation, and by doing so, he relates to the concept of relationship-contingent self-esteem, which is when self-esteem is dictated by the relationship dynamics you're in. Because of this, he assumes that a Prince Charming is what Fiona would need to be happy, because that seems to be the opinion of everyone else around him. This is called social proof, and it's when we conform to certain attitudes or behaviors because we perceive these attitudes as correct or as truthful. However, it is important to mention that Shrek never really asked Fiona if that's something she wants. He now spirals in his own cognitive distortion, and that's why communication is so important in relationships. Because that's the only thing in this situation that could avoid Shrek falling in the pitfalls of these assumptions. But there's another layer of complexity here, which is that even if he wanted to, he cannot change. All he can do is feel alone, inadequate, and inferior. Here's a tip. Changing in a relationship to fulfill someone's needs can be beneficial as long as the change benefits your growth as well. For instance, if your partner requires more emotional support from you, it is a constructive challenge for you to broaden your emotional spectrum. Because even if you'll continue to be with that partner or not, you have acquired the skill. But if your partner requires for you to get a face job so you can look like their ideal type, that is not constructive for you because there are no skills that you're gaining.
I just wish I could make her happy.
Man.
Hold the phone. Happiness.
Right.
A teardrop away.
Ironic
Okay,
how for
think of
happiness
the
you need to
saddest
cry,
thing
huh?
that-
What? Is it on? Is it on?
A boomer.
This is Fairy Godmother. I'm either away from my desk or with a client. But if you come by the office, we'll be glad to make you a personal appointment. Have a happy ever after.
Wow, magical. This is me when I'm trying to convince my husband to take every cat and dog that we see on the street. Like, it's not as effective as in this case. Oh, Shrek, does he do that? The hell?
Dad, have you seen Shrek?
No, I haven't yet. I'm sure he just
The
went
lying.
off to look for a nice mud hole to cool down in. You know, after your little spat last night.
Oh, you heard that, huh?
Darling, the whole kingdom heard you. I mean, after all,
Fighting is
it's
normal.
in his nature to be, well, a bit of a brute.
Him? You know, you didn't exactly roll out the welcome wagon.
Thank
What do
you.
you expect? I mean, look at what he's done to you.
Shrek loves me for who I am. I would think he'd be happy for me.
Darling, I'm
Yeah.
just thinking about what's best for you. Maybe you should do the same.
Wow. Notice how the argument with her father is very different than the one she had with Shrek. Fiona's lack of response in this scene as opposed to her assertiveness with Shrek illustrates the internal conflict between her upbringing and her current life. With Shrek, Fiona embraces a more liberated and authentic self where she feels comfortable challenging norms and expressing her true feelings. In contrast, her interaction with Harold is restrained and shows a certain deference, which really highlights the power dynamics at play here. Harold mentions what's best for her, and she immediately connected with her indoctrination of what best means. The human race is better than any other race, especially ogres. I'm sure we can all hear what's wrong with that statement. Honestly, I don't blame her for not reacting more assertively here. She is going through unlearning, a process that refers to the active reversing or undoing of previously learned behaviors and beliefs. It's a slow, confusing, and uncertain process, so she'll need some time to be able to properly challenge it. If you're going through this, remember that you need a lot of self-compassion because it's a very hard thing to do, but it is also needed for your personal growth, so keep going. Oh, wow. That's a business, all right. Donkey has flashbacks.
What in Grimm's name are you doing here?
Well, it seems that Fiona's not exactly happy.
Oh, there's some question as to why that is.
Yes.
Well, let's explore that, shall we?
Through her very narrow filter.
Princess Cinderella. There we are, lived happily ever after. Oh, no ogres.
Do you see how she takes into consideration just her identity as princess and not as ogre?
Sleeping Beauty.
Of course, you cannot find a happy ending that way. The Fairy Godmother portrays her business as all about kindness and goodness, and her as the center, as the savior of it all. This manipulation is a tactic often used by tyrant types, and it often includes this facade of being a simple fairy that just wants to help people achieve happiness from her small little cottage. When in reality, this is a whole-ass factory where happiness solutions are manufactured on an industrial scale. Her entire operation is based on exploiting the desires and insecurity of characters. Even the people working for her are actually exploited fairy tale characters and doves or pigeons, whatever those are. She's rude and disrespectful, and her employees are not happy. That's always a bad sign. But she clings to this image of simplicity and goodness because she can very easily hide behind it.
Somebody bring me something deep fried and smothered in chocolate.
For me too.
Mother!
Charming, sweetheart. Oh, this isn't a good time, Pumpkin. Mama's working.
Well, what happened here?
The ogre, that's what.
The ogre.
Where is he, Mom?
Oh.
I shall rend his head from his shoulders.
Dude, relax.
I will smite him where he stands.
Okay.
He will rue the very day he stole my kingdom from me!
Your kingdom? And this is what happens to the children of the tyrants. They end up an entitled pawn. Charming serves an example of how deep-seated manipulation and control can distort personal ambitions and self-awareness. He believes he deserves the kingdom even though he has no legitimate claim to it, but because he was brought up by such a controlling mother, he's now become a simple pawn. His actions are being driven more by what he has been conditioned to desire rather than by his own genuine wishes. It's kind of like many men in sex. Many were taught they should always want it, and when they don't, they feel like there's something wrong with them.
It says beauty divine. How bad can it be?
Depends how you see beauty, actually. Bless you.
See, you're allergic to that stuff. You're gonna have a reaction. And if you think that I'm gonna be smearing vapor rub all over your chest, think again.
Aren't you the best friend? Isn't what you...
Potion.
What?
Allow me to take the first sip. It would be an honor to lay my life on the line for you.
No. I don't think so. If there's gonna be any animal testing, I'm gonna do it. That's the best friend's job.
So he's willing to do the animal testing but not spreading vapor rub on his chest. Make it make sense.
Maybe it doesn't work on donkeys.
Well, that's a racist potion.
Well, here's to us, Fiona.
Shrek, you drink that, there's no going back.
I know.
But no more wallowing in the mud.
I know.
And no more exit butt cracks.
I know.
You love being
I
old.
know.
So why?
I love Fiona more.
Be careful, this is a trap that many people fall into when in a relationship. You love your partner more right now. Down the line, after years and years together, you'll start feeling that resentment because giving up the things we love, who we are, is going to slowly make our partner the sole source of happiness and fulfillment in our lives. That's a way too big of a responsibility and burden for your partner. And you deserve to be loved even if you like to roll in the mud or whatever. A good relationship is when you can say, I love you and I love being myself with you.
There you are. We missed you at dinner.
What is it, darling? Dad, I've been thinking about what you said,
Okay.
and I'm gonna set things right.
Ah, excellent. That's my girl.
Lillian's
It's a
face.
mistake to bring Shrek here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go out and find him. And then we're gonna go back to the swamp where we belong.
Yes. Very good. You see, Fiona took the time to process what was really happening, and she was able to see things from Shrek's perspective, perhaps. Regardless of what exactly made her snap out of it, she did it. Going against one's own conditionings is a great sign of love. This is a powerful example of self-actualization, when people realize their own potential, making decisions that reflect their true preferences, values, and interests. But this process involves breaking away from conditioning, societal expectations, the comfort zone in general, and at times even your family. In order to reach this point, you'll need assertiveness, boundaries, and breaking free of conditioning by questioning things. Who says that a rose is more beautiful than a mushroom? I don't agree with it.